Okay, so on this question, we want to factor three terms, but we have a number in the front. So when we have a number in the front, those are always a lot more difficult. So what do we have to do? So let's write that number in the front. First thing you're supposed to do, step one. Step one, check if all the terms have a number or letter in common. Is there some kind, like, does a number? No, 3 doesn't go into 10 or 8, and they don't all have a letter. So we checked. All right, so now what do we do? Now we go to the 2 parentheses. So I'm going to go 2 parentheses, and I've got to put a 3x and an x, because remember, they have to multiply. Let me write it up here. Multiply, add, multiply. They have to multiply to be the front number, multiply the back number, and add to be the middle. That's the most important part. Okay, so we have to have 3x times x to make 3x squared. Now, how do they multiply to be 8 in the back? Well, there's a few different ways to do that, huh? You can do 2 times 4, or you could do 3x and x, 4 and 2, right? The order matters now, because there's a 3x in the front of one parenthesis and a plain x in the front of the other. So where you put the 2 and the 4 matters, whether it goes, whether the 2 goes in the parenthesis with the 3x or the 4 goes in the parenthesis with 3x. That's different. Now you might say, yeah, but okay, but there's other, you can also multiply to be 8, like 1 times 8. Yeah, I know. That is more rare though. So let me just mention now, if these both don't work, if both of these end up being crossed off and not working, then I will go to the 1, 8 options, and I'll try the 1 and 8 in both orders. But let me just tell you, usually it's the numbers closer together. What do I mean? When you can multiply to be at 1 times 8 and 2 times 4, right? 2 and 4 are only 2 apart from each other. 1 and 8 are 7 apart from each other. It's usually, not always, but usually the numbers closer together. It's probably 2 and 4. Just letting you know, that's how they usually make these problems. It's usually the numbers closer together, like 2 and 4. So I'm going to try that first. If 2 and 4 doesn't work, then I'll write or, and then I could try 3x, x with 1, 8, or 3x, x with 8, 1. It could be one of those two. So I'll do that eventually if needed. I don't think it's going to be needed. So, so I'm just going to try these two mainly. Here we go. So for my first 2, I'm basically just going to check, aren't I? Check, so meaning the first one goes to both. 3x squared, 12x, and then the second goes to both. 2x and 8. Now, and then same thing over here. I'm going to check. First to both. 3x squared, 6x, second to both. 4x and 8. Okay. Now, what we want to check is adding to be negative 10 in the middle. So can these two add to equal negative 10x? Can these two add to equal negative 10x? Yeah, well, actually, they both can in different ways, huh? Right here, negative 6 and negative 4, that works. And you think, yeah, but how about here? Here, remember, let me write the rule that's helpful. The sign in the middle goes on the bigger number. What do you mean middle? There's a plus sign here, right? Every number or letter really has a sign in front of it. If it's not showing its sign, it's an invisible plus sign. So there's really 3 signs here. And the one in the middle is this negative. So the sign in the middle has to go on the bigger number, minus and then plus. And that does make negative 10, doesn't it? Right? So minus 12 plus 2. If you lose $12, you gain back 2, you lost 10. So that works. Or if you lose $6 and lose $4, you lost 10. So they both work for now. But wait a minute, hold on. So that would mean on this one, now, oh, by the way, look at How do we know how this actually goes? Well, I'll put this minus. Remember the 3x goes boom and then boom. So that's how he gets the minus right there. That minus. That's where the minus 12 come from. Remember in the check, the 3x goes first and he goes boom, 3x squared. And then 3x times 4 makes the 12x. So it's got to be minus 12x. That's why the minus goes on the 4. You see that? 3x times minus 4 makes that minus 12x. And then it's the 2x's term, 2x times 2 times x. That's got to be the plus. See that? So I backtracked and found out where those signs really go. Is that making sense? So anyway, my point in all that is, does it make the correct 8? Plus 2, right? If you check it out, the 3x goes to both those, 3x squared minus 12x, and the plus 2 goes boom, boom, makes, yeah, minus 8, and that's right, minus 8. That's good. That's a big check. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the other one? There is. Watch. 3x squared, that's good. 3x times 2 to make minus 6, so that's got to be a minus 2 there, right? 3x times minus 2 makes minus 6x. And he said, now the 4 goes to both. That's got to be a minus 4, because minus 4 times x makes minus 4. And then minus 4 times minus 2 would make plus 8. And that's not correct. It's supposed to be minus 8. See that? So that one doesn't quite work. It's close, but not the right answer in the end. So what's the right answer in the end? This one. So the right answer is 3x plus 2, x minus 4. That's the right answer when all is said and all is done. There's the right answer. Does everybody see that? I know that's kind of tricky. There's a lot to that. So again, how did I do that? I wrote the 2 parentheses, got to multiply to be 3x squared, so it's 3x and x, and then they have to multiply in the back to be minus 8, or just 8 at first. And so that was tricky. It could be 2 and 4 or 4 and 2. It actually could be 1 and 8 or 8 and 1, but those are less likely. Then I tried both options and I got this and I said, well, they have to add to be the middle. Well, there were 2 ways to do that. Minus 12 plus 2 makes minus 10 in the middle, or minus 6 minus 4 makes minus 10 in the middle. How do you know which one's right? Well, when I put the signs back up there, the first one made minus 8 at the back, multiplied to be minus 8, whereas the other one multiplied to be plus 8 at the back, right? Minus times minus would be plus 8. That's not right. The original question given to us was a minus 8 at the back. So this is the correct one. And there's our final answer. That's tricky. There we go.